Greetings YouTube. Today let's talk about Anubis. Anubis is the Greek name for a jackal-headed god associated with mummification in the afterlife in Egyptian mythology. In the ancient Egyptian language, Anubis is known as Inpu, variously spelled Inupu, Inpu. The oldest known mention of Anubis is in the Old Kingdom pyramid texts, where he is associated with the burial of the king at this time. Anubis was the most important god of the dead, but he was replaced during the Middle Kingdom by Osiris. He takes various names in connection with his funerary role, such as he who is upon his mountain, which underscores his importance as a protector of the deceased and their tombs, and the title he who is in the place of embalming, associating him with the process of mummification. Like many ancient Egyptian deities, Anubis assumes different roles in various contexts, and no public procession in Egypt would be conducted without an Anubis to march at the head. Originally, in the Ogdoad system, he was god of the underworld. He was said to have a wife, Anput, who was really just his female aspect, her name being his with an additional feminine suffix, the T, who was depicted exactly the same, though feminine. He is also said to have taken to wife the feminine form of Nehabkau, Nehabka, and Kebichet, the goddess of purification of body organs specially placed in canopic jars during mummification. Kebichet is also shown as his daughter in some places. Anubis was the son of Set and Nephthys. But in other versions, Anubis was the son of Osiris, the god of the underworld, and Nephthys, Set's sister and wife. Nephthys tricked Osiris one night. Nephthys never liked Set, but she had always felt an attraction towards Osiris. Since Nephthys and Isis were siblings, she was able to trick Osiris into sleeping with her one night instead of Isis. As a result, Anubis was born. Nephthys was very angry since Set killed Osiris, so she left him and assisted Isis, Osiris's wife. Nephthys persuaded Isis to adopt Anubis, who is sometimes portrayed as a black dog with Isis, since he was more associated with beliefs concerning the weighing of the heart than had Osiris. Anubis retained this aspect, and became considered more the gatekeeper and ruler of the underworld, the guardian of the veil of death. Consequently, he was said to protect souls as they journeyed there, and thus be the patron of lost souls, and consequently orphans. Anubis was frequently depicted in editions of the Book of Dead as performing the opening of the mouth ceremony on the mummy and statues of the deceased, as well as escorting the spirit of the deceased into the presence of Osiris in the underworld. Subsequently, the god is often shown weighing the heart of the deceased against the feather of truth, Mot, in the presence of Thoth, as scribe, writing down the recordings, and Osiris, as judge. Rather than god of death, he had become god of dying, and consequently funeral arrangements. It was as the god of death that his identity merged with that of Wepwat, a similar jackal-headed god, associated with funerary practice, which had been worshipped in Lower Egypt, whereas Anubis cult was centered in Upper Egypt. However, as lesser of the two gods of the underworld, he gradually became considered the son of Osiris, but Osiris' wife, Isis, was not considered his mother, since she too inappropriately was associated with life. Instead, his mother became considered to be Nephthys, who had become strongly associated with funerary practice, indeed had in some ways become the personification of mourning, and was said to supply bandages to the deceased. Subsequently, this apparent infidelity of Osiris was explained in myth, in which it was said that a sexually frustrated Nephthys had disguised herself as Isis, in order to appeal to her husband, Set, but he did not notice her as he was infertile. However, Isis' husband Osiris mistook Nephthys for his wife, which resulted in Anubis' birth. Other versions of the myth depict Set as the father, and it remains unclear as to whether Set was truly infertile or not.